First things first, I'm Jenna Wolf. This is Nick Wright. That is Chris Canny.
That is Chris Canny.
Hey, man.
What up, man? Good to see you.
We swapped Chris for a Chris. It won't be hard on us, but we thank you so much for joining us today. Chris Carter is calling a game, so
Baltimore,
he can't be here.
Arizona, down in Baltimore, Charm City.
I don't think it's going to be much of a game, but it'll be entertaining to listen to CC's commentary.
Yes, we will discuss that later. You don't see Arizona maybe pulling off the 13-point upset. I see them.
Nah, you don't see it either. Stop.
No, I don't. No.
All right, big Friday show for you this morning. Jason Garrett is betting big on his quarterback, Dak Prescott. The Saints, they're looking for some revenge against the Rams. We got to start with Thursday night football. Cam Newton and the Panthers hosting Jameis Winston and the Tampa Bay Bucks. Pick this up in the third quarter. Panthers down 5. Cam keeps the ball on a read option, gets hit, fumbles. Cam was sacked 3 times, did not score a touchdown for the second straight game. All right, let's move to the final offensive possession of the game for Carolina. They need the touchdown here. 4th and inches. They call a direct snap to Christian McCaffrey, who's stuffed, does not get the first down, and the Panthers do not get the win. Bruce Arians picks up his first win as head coach of the Bucks, while the Panthers drop to 0-2 this season. Here's Cam Newton after another rough outing.
You're not going to hear no type of reasons why tonight didn't go as planned. I have to be better. No matter what physical condition I'm in, no matter what foot, shoulder, I didn't get the job done tonight, man, and it's frustrating. I wish I could say something other than that, but you know that's the facts. And you know I'm an extremely brutally honest person, you know, with people, and I'm extremely brutally honest with myself. And it's time for me to look myself in the mirror and, you know, do some real soul searching, because I had opportunities tonight and I didn't get it done.
Right now is neither the time nor the place to talk about whatever that get-up was on the podium. So let us focus on that drive that drove you so crazy. You tweeted about it immediately, Nick. What did you make of what the Panthers called and how it was executed?
Listen, obviously Cam was terrible, and we'll talk about that. Cam, at this point, he's either injured or he's finished. I choose to believe it's the former, not the latter. But despite how poorly Cam played, the Panthers had a golden opportunity to steal this football game. A football game they were thoroughly outplayed on both sides of the ball. Aside from their kicker, the entirety of the game, they could have stolen it, gotten to 1-1, steadied themselves, as you have a soft part of their schedule coming up. Not much softer, though, than a home game against Tampa Bay. And the Carolina Panthers, on 4th and inches, they didn't even need a touchdown. They needed a touchdown by the end of the drive, but they had less than a foot to get a first down and give themselves 4 shots from the 1 with plenty of time. They ran that play instead of the single most effective rushing play that exists in the NFL for any quarterback, and that's the quarterback sneak. This is something, The Ringer had a great article on it. It's the only thing that old school football guys and analytics people totally agree on. Sneak it on 4th and short. Sneak it on 3rd and short. And that is with any quarterback. That's with whether you have Eli Manning, whether you have Lamar Jackson, certainly if you have Cameron Newton, the most physically dominating force we've ever seen at the position. And Canny, even though Cam is clearly injured, his foot's not right, I don't know if his shoulder's right, he can still get a yard. And for them to, in that moment, decide to go fake Philly special, roll out with Christian McCaffrey is so nonsensical to me. If people weren't watching the game, it was 4th and 2. There was a pre-snap penalty for an extra timeout on Tampa. It looked to me like Carolina ran the play they were going to run on 4th and 2. Even once it became 4th and less than a foot, it's indefensible by Norv Turner and Ron Rivera. And honestly, Cam should have vetoed it at the end. He's the last line of defense. Said, guys, this is what they said. I'm going to go get this yard. But this is tough to come back from 0-2 when there are 2 home losses, 1 against the projected worst team in your division. That was an indefensible play call that cost them the game.
Well, let's talk about that, because you said that the Panthers looked like they were going to run the same play on the previous down before Tampa Bay tried to call that second timeout. I mean, they accomplished what Tampa wanted to accomplish in that situation, because they want to get a look at the formation so they can have a game plan going into it. And when the Panthers finally got a chance to run the play, it looked like the Bucs were prepared for it because they had 3 defenders sitting out there waiting for Christian McCaffrey's. Vernon Hargreaves makes the tackle. They get off the field. But in looking at that sequence of plays in that situation in the low red zone, it felt like the best opportunity to score was that 2nd and 10 when they ran the smash concept and Cam Newton's trying to throw the ball to Curtis Samuel in the end zone for a touchdown, but he can't because he's rushed on the throw by Shaq Barrett. For whatever reason, Ron Rivera and Norv Turner refused to give Darrell Williams, their left tackle, any help against Shaq Barrett last night, and he wrecked the game for him.
Yep.
I mean, Shaq Barrett had 3 sacks, a number of quarterback hits. I mean, their offense couldn't get off the ground. I mean, there was one point in the game where they had 9 straight failed 3rd down attempts, and Cam Newton had 7 incompletions in that stretch. So ultimately, you realize that Cam is not being effective in the passing game in critical downs and distances, but that's because the offensive line isn't giving him time to be able to step into his throw and make an accurate throw.
Okay, so there's a lot to get to with Cam Newton here. At this point, I think we can all agree we're probably not going to see 2015 MVP Cam. We keep waiting for it every season. It doesn't seem to happen. We know that he had off-season shoulder surgery. We know that they tweaked his throwing motion a little bit, and he tried to change it. We know what's going on with his foot. He had a foot sprain early in the season. All those things factored in. Is it time to panic with Cam Newton and the Panthers now?
Well, it's, for the Panthers this season, falling to 0-2 with this loss, I think panic is deserved. For Cam, as far as longevity, I'm not ready to panic yet. Andrew Luck, last year, the first couple games back from missing a season with shoulder surgery, did not look good. In Game 2 last season, I think he had 2 interceptions, a mid-70s quarterback rating, and then by the midway point of October, he looked like old Andrew Luck. But Cam, no matter how often no matter if they change his throwing motion, no matter who the offensive coordinator is, he's never going to be a super precise dink and dunk, highly accurate passer. It's not going to be what he in his MVP year, he wasn't that. He has to be able to throw the deep ball, and he has to be a threat running the football to open up some of those throws. Right now, he's neither. Right now, he can't throw an accurate deep ball. You're right. Darrell Williams made Shaq Barrett look like Von Miller last night. And
Taylor Mouton wasn't much better.
And he hasn't run all year. I think he has 4 rushing attempts on the season, less than 10 yards rushing. If Cam Newton is not a rushing threat, that has always been an enormous part of his success to go along with whatever's going on with his shoulder, then yeah, you would panic about him. If this is who he is moving forward, then you would panic about him. The hope for Cam is that while he didn't put it on this, that this is about injury more than anything else.
Well, Cam has taken a lot of hits throughout the course of his career. You talked about it since he's come into the league. No quarterback has been hit more, but I think that Norv Turner and Ron Rivera are trying to protect Cam and sometimes not calling those design runs. You're trying to save some hits off of him. The one time that they called the design run in last night's game, he ends up fumbling it on it. Now, they caught a break 2 plays before because it was an interception that was overturned because of a defensive holding call. But ultimately, Norv Turner and Ron Rivera know that if Cam Newton's not healthy, they have no shot at being competitive this season. You saw what it was in the second half of last year when Cam was banged up. So I understand them wanting to get their quarterback to the next game, but I also understand that it can get late early in your season, especially falling to 0-2. You lost 2 conference games at home, 1 in the division. I mean, Nick talked about it before the show in the production meeting. It's a situation where people that were picking the Carolina Panthers to go to the playoffs didn't imagine that the Panthers wouldn't win this early Thursday night game against the Bucs.
Every blueprint, every path to the playoffs involved you win your home game against Tampa. Like, there is no way that you, like me, could pick Carolina to win 10 or 11 games and make the playoffs and you could have them losing to the Rams. You can't have them losing at home to the Bucs. When your defense, by the way, plays quite well, gets a safety, keeps you in the game throughout, and they're going to think about that goal line call all year, because as poorly as Cam played, as poorly as Darrell Williams played, as poorly as the offense was, you are inches away from a first down, 2 yards away from a touchdown, and winning the game, and you try to run some bootleg Philly special. Yeah,
it didn't make sense, but the bottom line is this. The Carolina Panthers had 9 possessions in Tampa territory. They came up with no touchdowns, 0 in the red zone. That's unacceptable. You're not going to win a lot of football games that way.
When's the part of the show where we get to talk about what was happening?
Listen, man,
the bonnet was about as ugly as the offense.
Hold on, so you want him to bring 2 outfits? Because he wore that to the game.
I don't want that to be an outfit for any result of any game.
I'll take
even
Cam
if they
Newton's
won by
style up
100.
against. Yeah.
Take a break coming up, and we
on
will
this
talk
set.
much more about this game throughout the morning. But will Drew
Always
Brees and the
hate.
Saints get revenge against the Rams Sunday? I am not always hating. I did not love that look. That is next on FS1. You can always check us out on the Fox Sports.